This podcast is brought to you by the following
Why don't you go like
sponsors.
this and have lightning come from your hands? Yeah.
I'll just do this.
Effects.
Finishers MMA is located at 3761 Nicholas Street in Easton, PA, Lehigh Valley's home for 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. The amount of people that they have over there instructing is insane. They have J.M. Holland, John Thor Blanks opening up 10th Planet Allentown, Zach Meslaney, Grace Gundrum. It is elite teaching over there. They teach self-defense, no-gi jiu-jitsu, and kickboxing. They have a kids martial arts program that is building and growing, and Grace is teaching every single kids class. Get over there. They are the biggest killers in the game. That's 3761 Nicholas Street in Easton, PA. Do you have anything to interject?
You didn't let me talk. I don't know.
No, I would like trying to get quicker on that. But they have multiple schools, and it's www.finishersmma.com. That has their schedule on there, and it has when they rotate everything. And they have evening classes because if you work and you can't get there, they even have, I think, an 8 o'clock class on Wednesday.
The thing I like the best is that they treat people with respect. It's not like one of those weird places you go and they talk down to you and, you know, like I'm a big bad sensei kind of crap.
No, not at all.
They're super cool guys. Everybody that goes there is nice. Everybody's friendly. It's just a wonderful place to go and learn jiu-jitsu. Wonderful place to go learn choke people.
Yeah.
Just go choke some people.
Every time I've been over there, and I get a little intimidated sometimes going into classes like that, even like going to the gym or like the Y, I get a little uncomfortable, and they make you feel at home there. Super professional. The guys have been doing it for a while. Zach, JM, and Thor all have their black belts. So
and they have crazy top-notch equipment. Everything is awesome. It's not some...
Yep. Every now and then they do
awesome. It's an awesome place.
Seminars and stuff there too. So check it out. It's finishersmma.com, and they are located at 3761 Nicholas Street in Easton, PA. Their social media is everywhere, so you can go find them. And thank you guys for being a sponsor. Taylor Edge Wood Company. Drew Hoagland. They make handmade and local crafting and bringing you gorgeous custom wood design. If you're looking for a custom table, nightstand, countertop, and more, they can help you. Drew made this table and that desk. A lot of people always have asked us who did this, and it was Taylor Edge Wood Company. Their social media you can find is Taylor Edge Wood Co. on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram has a lot of the pictures and stuff. That's the best place to follow them. They just got the website up. It should be running by the time this airs, but that's tayloredgewoodco.com, and he's going to have cutting boards on there. Their T-shirts are really cool. I know they're doing fall shirts for that, and he's just a stand-up guy. He's done nothing but help the show since day one and has really ultimate crafting.
Yeah, if you're looking to get something different for your home and you don't want to have the same boring home with the same boring box store, stupid tables that are particle board that are wrapped in crappy vinyl stuff, check him out. He'll come and give you an estimate, let you pick out whatever you want. He's a crazy nut for black walnut, and he loves the stuff, the smell
He's
of it.
Obsessed with
crazy.
it.
It's a little awkward, but he's very very talented. And like I said, if you want something custom and nothing says that you're cool, then I have a damn custom table and you don't.
Yeah, and you get professional quotes, and he's also got that he's going to be having that on the website where you'll be able to get quotes off of there. So if you're looking for top-notch,
locally sourced,
everything's out of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, support local people.
Yeah, so hit them up. You can hit up tayloredgewoodco@gmail.com for any inquiries on what you need. Instagram's a good way to get a hold of him, and he runs it with his wife, so they're super local to us, and they helped us out since the beginning. So please go check them out, and thank you for being a sponsor.
All right, our next sponsor is All Valley Rooter and Plumbing.
Jared LaBarba. I've been friends with Jared for almost my entire life, and he came down to the studio looking to sponsor, and we had a long conversation, and he wanted help building in the Nazareth area. He has a lot of work in the Lehigh Valley, but he specifically wanted to get into Nazareth, and we have a really big reach in Nazareth. It's not a big place, but we do have bigger reach than anyone else here.
We control the whole
We
town.
own Nazareth. But Jared went through his whole story and told me everything he's doing, and his plumbing is top notch. Yes. They do faucet repair, sub pump replacement, sink installation, pipe installation, leaks, toilet repair, and more. They have 24-hour service, 365 days a year. They charge by the job, not the hour. All services come with a 1-year warranty and guarantee. He's going to be our plumber from now on if we have any problems with the sink and whatnot. Yeah. Having plumbing issues is probably one of the biggest headaches ever.
It's one of those things that if something goes bad with your plumbing, it's really bad. There is no minor plumbing issue. And it's good to have someone that's local that you can call, that you know, and say, hey, I really need your help, as opposed to some guy that he's going to spend, he's going to take 3 hours to get there and he's going to show up. He's going to overcharge you. It's just not worth it. Go with a local guy, super professional. He can do everything you really want. He lists a bunch of stuff there, but I'm pretty sure he can do pretty much everything involving plumbing. So I'm just going to call him for everything. So. Whatever.
Yeah, and you have 2 properties that you can use them for now, too, because you didn't have a good experience.
No, they were horrible.
I wish you would say who it was.
I really hate that.
His website is allvalleyrouter.net, and that is the place where you're going to find all of the information you need to get a hold of Jared if you have any plumbing issues, or if you're just trying to get quotes for stuff. But they are 365 days a year. They are open 24 hours, and we want to thank him for being one of our first sponsors on the show. It means a lot, and all you Nazareth peeps or anybody in the Lehigh Valley who wants a trusted, reliable, professional plumber, please contact Jared.
And our next sponsor is Rips Auto Detail. I love this guy. Go ahead.
One of my favorite guests on the show.
Cool. He's a really nice guy. He's a very good DJ also, by the way.
Yes, and he's super professional at his job. He's got over 15 years of experience. He is located at 630 North Nelson Street in Allentown, PA. He does paint correction, ceramic coating, interior, and pro auto detail. If you follow him on Rips Auto Detail on Instagram, it's insane what this guy actually does with a car.
I am recommending that you go to Popeyes, which is right up the street, and you put fingerprints all over your vehicle, and then you go there, and he will make it perfect again.
Yeah, he's got 15 years of experience. He's got a package for everyone. What he stressed on the show is that he doesn't just do super high-end vehicles. Yep. He can do anything from, if you just have a daily driver and you just like having a clean car, you can get that done, all the way up to getting a boat done.
Yeah, well, it's worth it because I had my SUV detailed last year, actually, just because, especially when you live around here with the salt and everything else, if you get a really good detail on it, it actually will keep your car looking better than dealing with all the salt, because you keep going for car washes and stuff. That's not good. So if you get a really good detail on it, it actually will help all that stuff. So it basically winterizes your thing. And plus, when it gets nice out, you just go there and get it, just touched up a little bit, get it, refreshed, and you have a car that doesn't look like you're a slob.
You can contact him directly on Instagram, and that's at Rips Auto Detail, or you can call him at 484-553-1366. If you really want to know what this guy does, check out our past podcast with him. It's got a boatload of information. I didn't know, I knew he was good at what he was doing, and he opened his own business and all that, but to hear the story of how he got to where he's at and the 15 years experience, he's a super pro. He's a really great guy. Just go check out his stuff at Rips Auto Detail on Instagram, Facebook, and his website is coming soon. So go check him out, and he's one of our first sponsors as well. And we couldn't do the show without all these people, so I want to thank everyone. And shout out to Rips Auto Detail, and give him a follow.
And he gives you a free bucket of chicken.
No, he does not.
He's from Popeyes, says he does. Put that in there.
He didn't even like Popeyes.
Rips, you need to give out free chicken. Thank you.
Check out what he's doing on social media, and we won't use that part. And then we'll end it with, this is a professional Class A operation. Check out the podcast we did with him.
Our next sponsor is Luke Delmeyer Custom Knives. If you've ever wanted a custom knife, say a chef knife, say a camp knife, say any kind of cool custom knives, I'm sure any of you guys have watched Forge and Fire or whatever, this guy actually does that. He makes wonderful, crazy knives. He's leaps and bounds above anybody you're going to have around here. he's a good dude. You can contact him and give him basic parameters of what you want to make for our custom knives. He does sell his own knives on his website.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different knives on the website and his Instagram as well.
Instagram, he puts it up a little bit, and he'll say, hey, man, I'm selling this. His website's lukedelmeyer.com. Yeah, I mean, he lists a bunch of stuff. Like I said, you can ask for the custom stuff. He's starting a new line, which you can talk about, of the chef knives.
Yeah, the chef knife that he brought over to the studio was incredible because he showed me the demo one that they started with that he made out of a leaf spring, which is insane. But then what he handed off to me, I immediately just wanted to start prepping and cutting onions.
You were trying to.
I was excited to cook, and that's what a chef knife should do. And if
you
you're
just kept telling him you wanted to use it to cut something.
I did. And if you're looking for a chef knife or any sort of custom knives that you would like in your life for whatever reason, this guy, the amount of work that he's putting behind it, the craftsmanship that's behind his actual craft with blacksmithing, the dude's extremely talented, extremely humble, and please go check out his social media, and it's Luke Delmeyer at Instagram. That's where you're going to get a lot of his knives. He's testing the knives.
But you forgot the coolest part.
What's that?
You want to make your own knife?
Yeah.
He's got classes.
Yeah. That's right.
He has his own classes. You can go there, look like an idiot, because that's what I'll probably look like when I do mine. But you can go there, and he offers classes and teaches you how to make a knife. And I think that's awesome because there is no one and nowhere in this area that does that.
No. And if you're looking for a custom knife of any range, whether it's something that you're just looking for hiking, or if you're looking for a chef knife, or you're just looking to collect something as a hobby, go check out his social media, check out his webpage, get in touch with him, and see which knife is right for you. And that's lukedelmeyer.com. And thank you for being a sponsor. This is Never Again Radio, episode 37. Cool. Welcome to Never Again Radio. I've been in touch with you for probably 3 years trying to do this. Mostly 100% me trying to get the studio together. I appreciate you even making the time and keeping in touch. Jesse turned me on to you guys, and I checked out your Instagram page and immediately was kind of like, holy shit, these guys are doing some pretty incredible things. So I wanted to reach out. And before we kind of get into the interview, I kind of want you to explain what it is exactly that you do at Blown DeadLine.
Well, we take people's stupid ideas and bring them to life. I mean, honestly, because believe some of them are stupid, but you know, when it comes down to it, I may not like it, but if that's what the customer wants, it's like sort of being a tattoo artist. You kind of got to point them in the right direction and let them know that, you know, are you sure this is what you want? Because, I mean, yeah, you can blast this, but, you know, we try to steer people in the right direction as far as what they want. I mean, certain things we get, and it's just like, it's going to look like crap. And I tell them flat out, this is not going to look good. And I've been wrong before. So, I mean, it's one of those things.
And what is the process called that you actually do to, it's mostly firearms that you guys handle?
Well, I mean, it started with firearms, but we also do like wallets, knives, flashlights. We've done automotive parts, you know, truck parts, exhausts. Cerakote's pretty good. You can use it on anything that you can put in the oven. And they even have an air dry, which isn't as durable, but...
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, because I recently attempted to do my own gun, which I advise to never do to anyone, just so you know. Because...
That's how I started, though.
No, I know. But, no, what was happening was we had one of my friends he's a shop, and he replaces big, like, industrial pumps. He fixes them and stuff, so... He has all the spray booths and, you know, the ovens and all that stuff. And he's a big firearm guy like me. And he was like, hey, you know, we should get some Cerakote and just mess around and see what happens. And I was like, yeah, well, I don't want to wreck anything because I just don't want to, like, try. And I'm bad with stuff like that. Like, I don't want to wreck it. And then I'm afraid I'll never get it back the right way. So we went up giving it a shot. And we painted a bunch of just AR parts, which... you know, throwaway, you know, add-on stuff, just grips and stuff like that. So who gives a shit? And they went pretty well. And then We did 2 pistols. Mine was one of them. We did an FN 509. And I dropped it on the floor after spraying it because I'm a fucking idiot. I touched it with a dirty glove, so I had a big black fingerprint as it was quasi. Like we sprayed it and let it sit for a little, and like we baked it, or we let it hang on a rack while we sprayed everything else. And when I touched it, it wasn't wet per se, but it definitely wasn't dry. And then when I looked, I was like, son of a. So then we tried to fix it. You can't really fix it.
No.
It's not very forgiving. So
throwing it in the acetone and starting over.
Yeah. So then we looked, and I mean, we had a bead blaster and stuff, so we were stripping it down all the way, going beyond what they say you have to do, because they say you can just clean it, but I don't know. But it's not. It came out okay. Other than the fact that the tolerances on a 509 apparently are like none. So
right.
I couldn't put the fucking barrel back in, which is really exciting when you see his beautiful gun and you're happy because it's cool. And then you can't put the fucking barrel back in. Yeah, it's super awesome. Like, because you're like really excited at 11 o'clock at night after you've been there all day. By the way, it took me 11 hours. So I'm sure that your business does not take 11 hours. But so no one try to do it yourself. I do recommend sending it to you. But I do know like how this whole thing started with us is I showed him a picture of, I think, the Spartan Warn stuff. I think that was the first thing I sent him a couple years ago, and he was like, this is ridiculous. And all of a sudden he messaged me back like 10 minutes like, yo, I emailed that dude. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And that's how this whole thing started. So we've been following along.
Complete accident too, the whole Spartan Warn thing.
Yeah, but that's awesome. Like I mean, there isn't a single person, like I don't know if, and I don't want to, I don't want to put you on a pedestal or anything, but you do realize you are the person that people compare all their stuff to. Like your company.
Hear that, I'm humble, man. I mean,
like you're the one. You're like the person in the magazines that like, hey, look at this awesome gun. It's like, oh, who did this? Oh, it's blown DeadLine.
Yeah, but there was guys that I looked at when I first started that were on that pedestal. You know what I mean? So it's a progression,
Yeah.
I've seen a few guys that were doing stuff, and this was 6-7 years ago. And their stuff to me was fantastic, but they were the only ones doing it. And it wasn't anything, just your basic different camos or
digital stuff. That was always like that was top of the line back then. 7 years ago.
And I thought that stuff was cool though, because I was like, I want to learn how to do that. And then I saw cryptic.
Yeah.
And that's what made me decide to start trying to figure out how to do patterns.
Now, did you learn on Duracoat? Did you even try that stuff? That stuff is horrible, by the way.
There's people, I've never used it. I have it here. They sent me some for free. I just never used it.
I think they've changed the formula as of late because they're trying to compete. But there's another one too, just called Guncoat. I think that's another brand.
KG.
Yeah. My buddy did that in his shotgun, and I guess it came out okay. But I've never had an issue with anything I've had Cerakoted ever.
Well, see, and that's the thing. I mean, it all comes down to the applicator.
Sure.
It's 95% prep and 5% talent as far as spraying. You know what I mean? And I've seen good Duracoat, I've seen good KG, and I've seen good Cerakote, and then I've seen bad of each. So
yeah. Oh no, because when it goes bad, it can go really bad, and that's what I was afraid of. Just high spots and weird stuff, and just.
And we're not perfect. I mean, we make mistakes, but as long as when it comes down to it, if you take care of those mistakes and you try to do everything you can to make that person happy, regardless, if they're still not happy, then there's nothing you could do. But as long as you make that attempt, that's the difference between some companies and other companies, a better company and a worse company.
Yes.
We could eat a $500 paint job. That's no sweat. But the guy that does one of those a week and that's his paycheck, I could see that's a little harder for him to have to paint it twice or 3 times. Or
sure. And it's so time consuming for some, you know what I mean? Processing for some of that stuff is, like I said, it took me 11 hours. And we did all of them the same time. Bear in mind, we bead blasted them all down to bare metal, and it was a learning process. But yeah, it was 11 fucking hours that I'm never going to do again, ever. I'm not even going to try it.
My first gun, I painted it 4 times, and on the 4th time, it was decent.
Yeah.
I mean, it had, it was orange peel.
Okay.
And just because someone said they've painted cars before does not mean they can Cerakote.
No, it's a completely different process. And the thing is too is I found, and it kept ringing in my ears over and over again. That Jaeger guy, that's like a gun guy or whatever. His video, I remember seeing the beginning of it, and he walks into his classroom and takes his gun out of his holster and slams it on the ground, and everybody just goes, "Oh!" And he just goes, "This is a fucking tool. It's not a piece of art." And that's all I kept saying all day long. It's not a fucking piece of art. If I'm taking a gun that was black before and now I'm making it Magpul olive drab, it's going to be way cooler than it was just being pure black. So if it's not perfect, it's still a cool idea.
But here's the thing. You can have art. But
Sure. Now bear in mind, the ones I'm using, I didn't go for art. I just wanted a color.
Yes.
That's
what it is.
Now your stuff, some of the ones like, like I said, the battle worn stuff, or like
you get a lot of video game stuff, don't you? And I was
like
asking
Nintendo
you
blasters
when
and
I
stuff.
called, and you were like, "I don't play video games," and I don't get what half these are.
I have no clue. My brother plays them. My nephew plays them. But when I post something that we've done that's a video game theme, it's because I Googled it and I found a cool picture. I don't even know what it's from.
You realize how many times your name has come up on Call of Duty? Just like, because you can change the color of the guns, and they're like, "Yo, man, this has like that blown DeadLine spray paint on it." And I was like, "All right, it's not spray paint, but it's okay, I get you. It's like a camo pattern kind of thing." But
You got a buddy who calls me the Krylon King, so
yeah.
When you going back to like how you said that's how you started all this, did you just start doing this out of your garage? And then, because I want to get into I think one of the coolest part is how you started just hiring family, and like how that whole thing grew there. Like, so did you do this right out of your garage?
It was all in the garage, and it was just me all by myself. My wife, she's a registered nurse.
Yeah.
So she would work 7 to 7, and she'd get home at 7 or 8, I should say, and she'd be out there in the garage helping me prep. So it was just me and her for the longest, until we moved into another shop, and then it was just me. And then my nephew needed a job, but I didn't have no money to pay him, so he literally came and worked for me for free.
Yeah. How did it start? Like when you went to the bigger shop, was this all word of mouth locally, or were you was online? How, like, because online's changed. Like when I started my clothing company, I couldn't, like, Instagram isn't the way Instagram is now. Like you can run a commercial on Instagram now. Like that back then it wasn't. So how are you getting it out there?
Well, we got incredibly lucky. I mean, it was Instagram, honestly.
Yeah.
We got lucky, and the right person saw something we did, and then they pass it on to somebody else. And then we started doing stuff for other people, like a couple names. Will from Weapons Daily.
Yep.
He and me were the ones that coined the phrase battle worn. And that was the first battle worn thing I ever did. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. But after that got posted, we got more exposure. And then guys like Jody Lewis, Steve Colston, some of the guys from DMG and Rainier saw some work, and then they sent us stuff. So it just like a snowball effect. We started taking off. We went from like 400 followers to 25,000.
Yeah.
Which to me was amazing. I was like, holy crap. I mean,
and it's not like you guys don't have, like you have constant content because you're doing something different constantly.
Yeah. I mean, back then it was, a lot of people were just like, well, here, just do whatever you want. And I was good with that because I had a ton of ideas.
I think it's the best way to get stuff done. Like
that Spartan one. I mean, I said, I think that would be kind of cool. Make it look like it's a little patina'd or whatever. And we figured that out in like, I think it was December of 2013. And now it's everywhere. Everybody does it. Yeah. But I like to say we started that,
Yeah, it's a cool idea. It's just a cool take on it. I know I tried to get I had a guy who was Cerakoting my stuff, and he was basically took me on the process. He was learning as he was going also, because he did powder coating and stuff like that. And he was like, listen, I have all the equipment. I mean, we'll just give it a go. So I was like, yo, man, I just sent him a picture of one of your things and said, I want like a battle worn This is what I want my gun to look like, my shotgun. And it came back, and I was like, this is really cool, but it doesn't really look like that at all. It came almost like, basically, we called it antiqued. Like, it was kind of antiquing. So it was supposed to be like black, and then he sprayed gold over it, and then I'll scratch it all up, and it kind of just looked weird. I don't know. It looks cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's definitely like a way cooler than what it was, but yeah, it's a little difficult for people to do. And I know that, like I said, now after doing all this, like the prep, and I know how much it takes. And then I know I was showing the guy that was doing this gun with me, you know, some of the stuff you do with like the American flag stuff, like on the flashlights. And he's just like, I don't even fathom how he does that shit. We're just going to do solid colors, and we're going to go that route, because that has to take a long time.
We can do that stuff with the laser now, which is...
Well, I started looking into that, doing engraving and stuff, and we'll get into that too, because that's a whole
other beast.
That's like printing money.
Did you say your nephew came on with you?
Yeah,
Did he have any experience at all, or were you kind of showing everyone how to take the load off of you?
Yep, I was just showing him how to prep. If I could take the stuff apart, if he could clean it, prep it, tape off whatever, rack it up, I would paint it. He throws it in the oven, and we just did that for a while.
Yeah,
you know, and that's when I went to my first SHOT Show, and I was at a Rainier party, and I met a lot of people, like the guys from Faxon. It was VG6 before that, Aero Precision, Agency Arms when it was in its infancy. I mean,
yeah,
this was like before they even had a gun ready. They showed us a prototype, but they were excited to work with us, and that's how it all started. Then, you know, they sent us the Fatal 15s, first ones, and we did those, and it's like I said, it's blown up from there. But we don't advertise, we don't solicit.
You don't have to, because everyone knows who you are.
It just comes to us.
Now, how did you learn how to take all that stuff apart? Like, it's, you know, some guns are easy, relatively. Okay, I'm saying that very gently. I'm saying some of these guns are easy to take apart, and I can take every single piece apart. Now, when I took my MK3 apart, and it took me 2 fucking days to put it back together because there's a little tiny spring in there that has to line up perfectly, that kind of shit would drive me up the wall. So that's why I'm saying, like, how do you... did you have somebody helping you in the beginning, or did you just learn how to do it?
Well, I'm mechanically inclined.
Yeah.
I used to be a mechanic for Jaguar. If I could take something apart, most of the time I can get it back together. Yeah. And when it comes to firearms, it's a lot of it has to do with the sequence.
Yeah.
You know, you have to remove this pin to get to this part, and so on. Once you figure out that sequence, I mean, putting it back together is just reverse.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, there's certain guns that will just drive you insane.
Yeah.
And that, like a SIG, an old P-Series SIG.
Yep.
That's what I learned on. That was the first gun I ever took apart. That thing's got like 40 parts or something.
Yeah, yeah.
I would rather take apart a SIG P-Series, like a 226, 229, 225. I would rather take that apart than a VP9.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, because of the different kinds of guns you handle, you have to know a lot of shit. Now, that in theory, I can take apart this, but now take apart this, then take apart this, then take apart this, and you're going gun after gun after gun, and then you have to go, I have to remember 10 guns ago.
Yeah, we also have an armorer.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, because I was told.
He's a certified Smith.
Yeah, well, I have a VP9, and it's by far my favorite gun, and I don't, just for pure shits and giggles, I literally, when I bought it, I went to the range, and I was just hollowing out the fucking bullseye, and I was like, I'm never getting rid of this gun. Like, I don't know what it is, I just shoot that gun. Like, that's the one I shoot perfect. But heaven forbid, they don't want you to touch it. Like, if you ask them, you're not allowed. It's forbidden. You're not allowed to touch them. So even when I actually emailed them and said, hey, my gun seems to be shooting a little low, and they were like, that's impossible. It would never leave our factory if it was like that.
Send it back.
Yeah, and I said, I'm telling you, I'm being honest. Like, I put it in a vise and I shot, and it's shooting low. It has to be your ammo. So I said, well, tell me an ammo to use. Did it, still shot low, and they said, send it to our company. So I sent it back. It was literally like a week turnaround, and all I got it back, and they had a whole box full of stickers. And I was like, okay, does this mean like it's good now? Like there was no nothing. There was literally nothing, no explanation. And I called, and the guy just said, yeah, there's like 25 different sites that we can put on this gun to go like from all these countries around the world. So he said, we put a lower front sight on it. And I go, so then it was shooting low. And he said, no, we didn't say that. We just put a lower front sight on it. So it'll work fine. They'll never admit that they fucked up.
They're proud. They're proud.
And the best is they have the best customer service, because if you question H&K, they're just dicks. Like they're dicks on purpose, but it's a funny way.
Your social media girl.
Yeah. Oh, they're dicks. But the thing is, it's funny. It's funny because they'll just keep saying stuff and they'll just make fun of you the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, every gun is different. Obviously, you start taking them apart, and you figure it out. There's certain things that I just won't mess with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got an armorer. He's a good guy. He knows a lot. He's got his FFL. I log him out to him. He takes 3-4 with him. And plus the time it takes for me to take something apart, I lose money.
Exactly.
I'm charging $90 to take something apart and put it back together. I lose money because I can spray 50 lowers in that time and make 20 times that,
Yeah.
So it makes more sense for me to have someone else that does it. Stuff like blocks and certain things, my wife can take those apart. She can put them together. So.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to the point where you were so busy that you had to get the armor, or was that something you did right away?
We did it right away and it started with, we did a collaboration with, who was it? Silencer Co. and SSVI. I don't know if you know Damon Young.
No, I don't.
He does the tier trigger for Glocks and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. Yep, I do.
He was doing the frames, and we were doing the suppressor and the rest of it for Silencer Co. Is one of their special deals where they only did 35 or whatever, and it came in a cool box and case and all that. So 35 VP9s, I knew how difficult they were, and it wasn't difficult as far as impossible, but that little spring on that slide is a pain in the ass. So if I had to do 35 of those, I'd probably lose my mind.
Yeah.
So we had a gunsmith who was doing stuff for the guy next to us who was just an FFL, and he said, well, hey, I'll take them with me and we'll put them back together for you, and not a big deal. And then we just worked something out, and then ever since then, we just started working with the guy, and it just makes more sense. I pay him whatever money we get goes right to him. I don't take any because he's doing the hard work as far as taking it apart and putting it back together.
Well, see, I never understood that why a company, and I know a lot of it's proprietary stuff, and they're claiming that their gun is better because of this and because of that, but it would be in their best interest to make it so that it is completely user serviceable. But I know HK told me that they make it, they don't have aftermarket parts because then they only warranty their work, which makes sense. Okay, well, we guarantee our gun works because we work on it. But even like my 509, I looked into doing the trigger. I would have to do an end around and get a company that makes a jig to be able to take pieces out because they don't want you to take it apart.
Right.
And you have to do all the stuff. And then that was the scary part too. What happens because when I did my 509, I switched out everything. The only thing I didn't switch was the trigger because I actually kind of like the trigger. But I switched out all the springs. I switched out all this stuff. And I was like, well, I'm doing everything I can without buying this jig. But that just sucks that some of these companies make it that they don't want you to touch it.
Well, like when it comes just to AR tools, barrel nut wrenches.
Yeah.
I've easily, with Knight's armament stuff, I've easily got $3,000-$4,000 worth of just AR tools.
Yeah.
Just to take off barrel nuts. I mean, every barrel nut is different. Everyone's got the greatest idea for the greatest barrel nut. Sure. Or clamping system or however you mount your handguard. And it just adds more money.
Yeah.
So you got to have all those tools,
But you know what I always tell people too, now because of you doing all this and handling us, have you found, like, you can look at a gun now and you know which guns are better than others. You would have to know. We've
seen a lot of different guns. You you can't judge a gun on how difficult it is to take apart or put together.
No, but I mean, just by looking at it, and I've seen you have a lot of videos of shooting. You have like an indoor, kind of bullet catch that you test for everything when it's all put back together. But you of anybody would have an idea of shit just because of tolerances and it goes back, doesn't rattle as much as another one. And you know what I mean? Like which is kind of cool because it helps you, because then your collection's got to be ridiculous because it's going to be the top of the top.
I know what to buy and what not to buy.
Yes,
honestly.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's all the same. I mean, I'm getting out of a lot of the AR stuff and crap like that. They're just the market's so saturated. There's nothing exciting really. I got a couple Knights Armament ones that I haven't even touched, which is strange coming from me, but they just work. So there's no point trying to take them apart and paint them, And plus, if I'll be honest with you, if the way things are going, if things got really bad, I don't think I would grab my Call of Duty AR that I painted.
Yeah.
Not that I wouldn't rely on it, but I don't know if it's trusted. You know what I mean? I even put thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds through it. I've got an MP5 from Dakota Tactical that I trust. I would trust that with my life.
Yeah.
I put 10,000 rounds full auto through it and never even cleaned it, and it still ran just fine.
Yeah.
So like I would grab that or just a factory Knights Armament rifle. I know it works. You know what I mean? That's not saying that my Gucci Glock or whatever isn't going to be reliable, but I don't have 10,000 rounds through that to be that confident, I guess you could say.
Well, that's what people, that's always the question I always get when people say, well, I want to get a gun. What kind of gun should I get? Just go shoot a bunch of them. Because what I could tell you that, I could tell you that, hey, I really like my VP9. You could shoot and go, I don't really like it. And then I give you my Beretta and you'd go, wow, this is amazing. I fucking hate my Beretta. I bought a Beretta because it was cool.
High point.
yeah, here's a high point. Go shoot some shit with that. But I said
if it works for you and a high point works.
Listen, if you feel like holding up that fucking 20-pound weight, that's good for you. But if you can shoot it straight, who gives a shit? I don't care what color it is. I don't care how big it is. It doesn't matter. Like I said, people say, like, I want to get an AR. I have a Daniel Defense AR. And I have it, and it works flawlessly. I've never had an issue.
Nothing wrong with the Daniel Defense.
100% love it. Now, somebody will say, well, hey, I want to get a Spikes Tactical. Cool. I shot those too. They're cheaper than what mine is. That doesn't mean it's worse than what mine is.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's why I always tell people, well, I have a $500 AR. It's not as good as yours. Well, who the fuck knows? Go shoot it.
A lot of people that, I'd say most of the gun community,
it's a snob thing.
Know a lot about guns.
No, it's a snob thing. That's why when I was talking about getting piston stuff, people were giving me. I said I want to make an AR and get it, a piston driven. I want to get like an Adams arm. Oh, don't get them. They're horrible. Why? Yeah, I go why? Why are they bad? Oh, they had bad reputation for a while, and I said, but they don't. Like they don't anymore. But everybody's a snob. Oh, I wouldn't get this. Oh, you have a pistol. It's not a Glock, and then they snoot down at you, and it's like the Springfield and the Glock people hate each other. The 1911 and
horrible. I'm not gonna lie. I just hate those guns. I just hate them.
But there's always, everybody has their own ones that they don't like. I don't shoot Glocks. I can shoot them, but I just don't like them. I just never did.
I've got 20 Glocks, and just because they're cheap and
they always work. They always work. And that's the thing. Like I said, I'd shot my buddies. We went to the thing, and he said, "Here, shoot my Glock." And I said, "I don't like Glocks." Then I shot, and he goes, "Wow, you shot it better than I do." I didn't say I couldn't shoot it. I just said I don't like it. Like, I'm not going to carry it around. Yeah, but they make wonderful weapons. I'm not going to shit talk them. I just don't like them.
Tactical. I'm not all this hardcore operator crap. I just paint guns, and I like what I like, and I shoot them, and I have fun. That's it. And
now you're doing laser stuff, which is ridiculous. Have you seen the laser videos?
I did. I saw when you started getting into that. When did you just start getting into that? Like a couple months ago or last year? Or?
It's I'm trying to think when it was. I think it was about a year now. I've been looking at lasers for 2-3 years now. And you ask a laser guy what I should get, and most laser guys aren't going to tell you exactly what to get because it's competition, honestly. That's like someone asked me, well, how do you get that effect on an AR with Cerakote? I don't give everybody away my secret. So I totally understood that. You know, I didn't know the difference between a fiber or CO2 and all these different things. And I knew what I wanted to do with it, or at least try to do with it. And then I ran across San Antonio Laser, and those guys, I mean, everything I've seen them do, I mean, it's all gun related, but it's not limited to guns. Yeah. But the way they design their, I guess you could call it a package with training, the laser and all that crap, is basically it's gun oriented.
Yeah.
So if you want a laser Glock grips or slides or whatever, you know what I mean? Barrels, whatever. Everything that they teach you is perfect for that. But it's not limited to just that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're smart enough, you can figure out how to laser on something else or MP5 housings and stuff like that. We just started figuring things out, throwing shit in there and either melting it or making it look cool. You know what I mean? I can't even tell you how many things I destroyed.
Well, that was the thing. When I started watching your videos and you're doing all that cool shit, and that's the first thing I thought. I was like, I wonder how many things he's wrecked. Just going too hot with a laser, or like, because you know some of that stuff isn't necessarily what they say it is. So it might be a composite, and you don't know what the fucking composite is.
And that's what that's what it comes down to. That's where the training was a huge difference, because when we came home, we knew exactly like all the settings to just blow Cerakote off of a part. We knew the settings. Mm-hmm. We knew the settings to do PMags or engraved Glocks or engraved aluminum or NFA markings. We had all those parameters already set up. So the day we got the laser, we got it onto a table, set up, got the exhaust set up, and we were engraving Glock frames immediately.
Yeah.
Where if you buy one from eBay or Amazon or China or whatever, you're going to get it and you're not going to have any type of support. And that's the difference. I mean, we paid more for it, but if I have an issue, I can call, message, Facebook message, text, whatever, email, and I'll get an answer within an hour.
Yeah.
Because these guys
and that's worth all the money in the world.
It is. Yeah. I know guys that have $50,000 lasers that can do NFA stuff, but that's it.
Yeah.
They can't engrave a Glock frame. You know what I mean? It's trial and error. So, but I didn't have to burn up 20 frames to do it.
Yeah.
It's when I started experimenting on other stuff that's not your typical stuff that they trained you with. That's when I was burning stuff up.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
How much did that affect business as far as, did you immediately see a spike where people were getting the Cerakote and then getting a laser, or were people just getting laser? I mean, did it kind of go neck and neck with what you were doing already?
Well, when I bought the laser, I had no intention of using it for Glock frames. I was thinking, okay, I'll do some NFA stuff, maybe some cool engravings on a slide, you know what I mean? And experiment. I always had the ideas of changing the color of the Cerakote with the laser. Not actually burning through Cerakote, but actually using, you know, the way you use the different frequencies and power and speeds, you can change the color of the paint. So I said, wouldn't that be cool if we could figure out how to do patterns with that? And then, you know, it's just saving some time. That was my original intention. And when I got it, things just blew up. I mean, we started getting people that wanted, you know, production stuff. So I was doing production stuff with and it's just a little 30-watt laser. It was taking forever. So I talked to the guys, and then I got the 50-watt laser because it made more sense to cut the time, you know, a third of the time to do 1,000 parts. Minutes are money.
Yeah.
So instead of doing, you know, 45 parts in an hour, we can do 65 parts. So it just made more sense to buy a bigger, you know, higher wattage laser. So between the two, I mean, we've already paid for them probably 5-6 times over, and that's not bullshit. And that's less than a year.
I have a question before we get too much further. The point you made about how you said you were interested in changing the color by using the laser, like that's such a different thought pattern. Did you always think that creatively growing up? Were you into art, or like, there's obviously some sort of creative background there. Like the mechanic stuff I get for like the parts and all that, but you wanting to change that color, like that's the thought process of somebody who's really got a super creative itch going on in the back of their head. Have you always had that growing up, or like what were you kind of into that kind of you were able to dump this into this business?
Yeah, and that's where it started. It was art. I mean, I've always engineering, architecture, drawing comic books. I mean, pencil, pens, markers.
Now it's starting to make sense.
I've been doing that for my entire life. I mean, honestly. And then that's what we're doing here is it's the same thing. It's just a different canvas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of a flat piece of paper, it's a gun.
How much more fulfilling was that when you started doing this and were able to do that as opposed to being a mechanic?
Well, I mean, I enjoyed every job I ever had.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously I didn't have them for too long because I got bored.
Yeah.
And, my last job.
Mike's had about 80 jobs. 80 jobs.
I was automotive. We did interior design for, it was a tier 1 company here in Detroit. We did like interior parts for Chevy, GM, Toyota, Chrysler, Ford. And I got laid off from that. And I could not find a job in that area in Detroit, which was, 2013, 14. If you can't find a job in the automotive sector
in Detroit,
you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're fucked.
Yeah.
So my wife was a nurse, and I told her, well, I'm going to paint guns. She didn't believe me. She's like, oh, okay, well, I'll entertain this for a little while until I force you to get a job, and it just blew up. She left being a nurse. Now she works here full time.
How was that where you were able to get, because that was also like a really big standout that I like the most about your story is bringing the family in like that and paying everybody and then like kind of being able to work with your family. And I mean, obviously you guys are close that you even were doing stuff together like that, like with your nephew and whatnot. But like, how did that feel in order to give everyone jobs and have job security for everybody?
Well, and like I said, with the Arrow run I told my wife, I said, if we get this Arrow run, I mean, then it was life-changing money. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it was a lot of money. I told her, I said, as soon as we get that, you can leave being a nurse and come work full time. Because believe it or not, my wife, she's a graphic artist too. Oh. And she's a nurse. So between the two of us, I mean, I think that gives us an edge on a lot of companies because
absolutely
my creativity, I can just tell her this is how I want it to look, and she can design the graphics.
Yeah. Well, that's why when you were talking about doing the laser and changing the color, I was like, there's got to be something there with that like art creative background. And then for the both of you to have that, I mean, it's only showing why you're doing such like why you're setting the trend. Having that background with both of you guys is you're just so ahead of the curve of anyone.
It's definitely a leg up. I mean, you can teach people how to paint, how to Cerakote, how to do camo, but you can't teach creativity.
No.
You're either creative or you're not. And you see that a lot with guys that basically just regurgitate or recycle other people's work. And
yeah.
There's no problem with that because you got to learn. You know what I mean? When we've been copied a lot, other guys have been copied a lot. It used to bug me, but now it hasn't bugged me for so long because when someone copies me, we just do something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They say, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Yeah.
Well, I think the guy that said that wasn't creative and probably copied off of a lot of people. So because that's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just flat out plagiarism. You know what I mean? It's a form of plagiarism.
And the whole idea is, let's say you came up with a certain, like I was just looking at your website. Let's say you look at a certain, way of putting like a flag on a gun, like a certain wave pattern that you like.
Right.
And if you start doing it and it's posted everywhere and all of a sudden someone else starts doing it and advertising somewhere else like, hey, check out my new wave pattern, and they try to take credit, that's bullshit. That's no longer trying to be nice. That's them 100% stealing. Like they're stealing and pretending like it's theirs. Now, if they said this is, like some companies will say this is the, say blown DeadLine version of a flag, and they give you credit and they do it, it's not as bad.
Well, I mean, it's a flag.
Yes. Oh, I know, but yeah, I know.
Invent the flag. I mean, the way we do it may be different, but you can't copyright a flag pattern.
No,
you know what I mean?
no, but it's still it's just a,
I see what you're saying.
yeah.
We're to the point now where, some people will say, hey, props to so-and-so for this idea. And that's great, but I'm not really looking for that, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be nice if they said, hey, I got the idea from Blown Deadline. That'd be nice, but I think we just keep going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's always the best thing to do.
Now, let me ask you a question. How did you come up with the name Blown Deadline?
Well,
I know, but they don't know. But go ahead.
I used to do graphics a long time ago. I made websites for a while. And I used to watch a show called The Wire.
Yep.
On HBO.
Oh, yeah. It's my favorite show.
And at the end of it, it said Blown Deadline Productions. So I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. So I Googled and did the search, and the name was available. So
Did it go out again? Oh, no.
years ago,
There you go.
So I just called it Blown Deadline as a joke. And
Yeah.
then we were doing the work and all that stuff. And then I got away from it. And then when I started painting stuff, I created my Instagram account. It was just Blown Deadline, based on graphic design, not painting or nothing. And it just stuck. So I just kept it that way. And some people know, some people don't. So I plagiarized an HBO show.
It's a good show to plagiarize, though.
I stole their shit, I guess. Somebody stole blowndeadline.com when it expired. Somebody stole it,
Yeah.
and they tried to sell it to me for $25,000.
Yeah, isn't that great? People are shitheads.
What'd you do? Just change it to .net?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just made .net and said,
Yeah.
fuck it. I'm not paying $25,000 for a name.
Yeah.
If I was Magpul, maybe, you know what I mean, or Microsoft, but we're not that big to where I can.
How funny is it, though, that all you did was just change it to .net and then just kept working?
Yeah, same thing.
They were probably like, fuck.
There's nothing they could do. Someone tried to sell me that on Instagram. Cerakote that shit. Because
Yeah.
we started the hashtag, and someone tried to sell me that, and I was like, fuck off.
Yeah.
I didn't mean it that bad.
Yeah, no. Speaking of Magpul, have you met the Magpul guys?
I met a couple guys at Magpul. I have a buddy that we do a lot of work for who used to work for Magpul way, way, way back in the day
Yeah.
when they were doing the China doll mowers and the
Yeah.
crazy mowers.
I met him at the Harrisburg gun show we had. We had a bunch of those guys, and they were solid guys. The whole show I was there.
Guys at Magpul, so it's
Yeah.
tough to meet all of them. I've met a few of them at SHOT Show every
Yeah.
year. Meet a few.
They've always been solid. Like I said, I'll support if I'll go. And there was a couple, and I won't throw anybody under the bus. But when I was at gun places there and big gun shows here in like Harrisburg, which is like a massive outdoor show, and there's a bunch of companies there, and like I'm not coming up. I'm not asking dumb questions. I'm just looking around, and you can tell the ones that just don't give a shit. And then the Magpul guys went way out of their way and were just talking and bullshitting, and it was like I spent like 45 minutes just talking about nothing. And I didn't want to. They were just like hanging out, like, hey man, they were just down to earth guys. And I said, and that's why I support you people. You know what I mean? If
that stuff goes a long way.
If you're nice and you're open and like I can ask you a question about your product and you're not going to be stupid about anything, I'll support you. Then there was other like couple AR companies that were there. No fucking way. They could care less. They had fucking didn't even want to look at you. They didn't want to talk to you. They didn't want nothing. They don't give a shit. So I don't support anybody that's not like that. You know what I mean? And it goes a long way, I think.
To align ourselves with different companies that have that same mentality, though, that are pretty good all around guys, not big in the head. Don't, my shit's better than your shit or whatever. I just, those kind of people, and you meet those people in this industry, unfortunately, because as much as I love the gun industry, I hate the gun industry. Yeah,
it seems to be, as of the last maybe 5 or 6 years, it's gotten really flooded with tons of companies. Yeah.
It's cutthroat. Even Cerakote. I mean, it's cutthroat.
Yeah.
People will talk shit about you to steal your business.
Yeah.
If you have to tell people that someone else's work isn't that good to get business, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You should let your own work speak for itself. You know what I mean? And like I said, we're not perfect, man. we mess shit up. As long as you make it right or try to make it right, that's all that matters, man. I mean, we're not perfect. We try to be, but it's almost impossible with the amount of stuff that we're putting out. Certain things get out, and it's unfortunate, but it always gets out to the wrong people. It just seems like the wrong guy gets a hit.
What was the story? And I don't know if you want to talk about it. What was the story with the left-handed thing you have? Yeah, the left-handed shim, which is, I read the story about it and I just start laughing because I go, there are a lot of people out there like that you can never fucking please them. No matter what you do, you're never going to fucking please them.
He sent us a muzzle brake and like a handful of shims. He was local too, and he shipped it.
Yeah.
It's just a muzzle brake. I mean, it's $50. That's what it cost us. It cost him to do it, $50.
Yeah.
And I painted it black because it was just black, sent it back. And then 2 weeks later, he's like, hey, man, you lost my crush washers. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, I had like 5 or 6 crush washers. And I was confused because you only need one. So I didn't know what he was talking about. I said, send a photo. So he sends a photo. I said, oh, okay, those are shims. And then my wife, she packed it up. They're just shims.
Yeah.
He probably threw it away in the packing. I don't know. But I told him, I said, I've got thousands of them. Just let me know what you need. I'll send you a fucking handful of them. And he said, well, this was a special shim. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, well, my gunsmith said it's a left-handed thread shim, and it's from the Czech Republic, and it needs to be imported because they're not available here, and my gun's worthless. And I said, who's your gunsmith? And he wouldn't give me the name. And I said, listen, man, I'll send you some shims. I don't know what to tell you. Well, I got an email from Yelp saying that some guy left it.
Yeah, Yelp is the worst fucking thing in the world.
I don't give a shit about Yelp because who cares? But I checked it out and I read it, and it said that the work was fine because it was just a black muzzle brake. I don't know how you could fuck that up. But the owner stole my shims and sold them for drugs.
Oh my God.
At first I was like, okay, that's kind of funny, and then I started thinking about it. I was like, wait a minute, this guy's accusing me of doing drugs for one and being a thief. I don't care if it's dope or not. So I called my attorney, and he said, well, I can send a cease and desist letter. And I said, well, let me just email the guy or whatever and figure it out. So we ended up figuring it out. But the guy was a douchebag about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a shim, a left-handed shim, I guess. So
which doesn't exist, by the way.
No, I found, you flip it over and it's a right-handed.
That's crazy, though. Did Yelp take the review down?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Usually when they cross the line like that, I worked at a place, and somebody who worked there before me got fired, and then he wrote all this stuff on Yelp how there was like a family of rats in the restaurant, and like they were the size of groundhogs, and like Yelp lets that shit go up, and then you have to contact them and be like, hey, there is no family of rats the size of groundhogs in our restaurant. And then it takes that. Sometimes the shit stays up though. Like sometimes, like I feel like Yelp at this point, not a lot of people take the crazy shit that seriously, because the other thing too is like some lady accidentally put 1 star and then wrote how awesome she liked the place, but clicked it wrong because she's just an older lady. And then they were like, hey, can you change that? And the lady's like, I don't know how. So then they're stuck with 1 star and a great review.
Well, I found out that Yelp has since, and that's why I hate them and I just yell at them when they call me office. But
I don't even really use it anymore.
No one does. But they call our office to try to advertise on that.
Oh, that's the worst too.
And that's like I'm getting the feeling that you want me to give you money so that I can like fix problems that you made. Like
it's extortion.
Yeah, it's horse shit. But anyway. So then
business bureau.
So
yeah.
So back to your shims. You made a left-handed shim, right? That said blown DeadLine on it, engraved it on the shim, and then put it in every picture they started taking after that.
I don't even think the guy knows, which is fine. But I think it would be better if he knew.
Yeah.
If he saw that, but now it's like it's famous. I mean, I even had patches made.
Yeah, with left-handed shim.
That's always the fun stuff that comes out of shit like that.
it's a stupid troll. I mean, it's immature, whatever. Some people are like, God, you should just grow up. And it's like, whatever, dude. If you don't like it, just move along.
Yeah.
Because now if I don't post a shim in a photo, people don't believe it's our photo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now it's like, it has to be there.
It's your trademark now. It's your copyright.
Well, I lost it. So now I'm trying to find the shim. So now I throw the patch in there for photos. But no, it was just one of those things that got way out of hand, and now it's everywhere. It's kind of funny and it's kind of stupid, but whatever.
What did you do any of the work on your car at all? Like, did you do any of the paint on the Mustang?
Not a single thing.
Yeah, you had that sent out to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I everything is powder coated. I mean, that's the problem with Cerakote. It's not, the H series isn't UV stable. So if it sits too long in the sun, it will tend to fade. So I don't recommend using it for parts that are going to sit in the sun, because it definitely fades.
Yeah.
You guys also started getting into bows as well. Like, when did it start picking up that you were doing? Did you just start advertising, or was there one person that like sent an email and they're like, "Hey, would you do a bow?"
That's it.
Yeah. And then you just post a bow, and then you get bow business, because Jesse was showing me the knives as well.
Yep. Same with knives, wallets, you name it. The flashlights. We do Phoenix flashlights for them.
Yeah, my buddy showed me a Phoenix flashlight and said, check out this new thing I got. And then I showed him on your website and said, yeah, I know who did that.
Yep, they sent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Yeah. It's like, it's crazy.
So then you started picking up business from companies that are sending you mass quantities of stuff that they want you to custom and then they resell?
Yep.
That's nuts.
It's crazy. I mean,
what set that off? You guys doing that first big order?
No, word of mouth. Everything is word of mouth.
Yeah. And then what? Because
guys from General Dynamics come in here and ask for Cerakote on stuff. So
the Yeti cups, Jesse was saying you're doing too.
Yeah, I don't like Yeti cups. The part of the Yeti cup is, you look at the cup. I don't know. We'll say it's so big. We charge to do a slide $125 for a slide.
Yeah.
In a pack. How hard is it to charge? And the Yeti is going to take three times more material.
Yeah.
So now I got to tell this guy it's $150 to paint a Yeti cup that he paid $40, $50 for.
Yeah.
It's a tough sell. It really is. I mean, I price it the way it is. You know, it's material. It's all the same. It doesn't matter what it is. Cerakote's expensive. The process is expensive. Everything is expensive about Cerakote.
Yeah.
So it's like airsoft gun or a real gun. It's the same price.
It's the same price.
Yep.
Same material. And people, they find it hard to spend $400 or $500 on a paint job on a $300-$400 airsoft gun.
Yeah.
I understand it, but if we were doing bulk, it'd be different. We could do a better price. But
yeah.
Those one-offs, that doesn't. It's good money, but it doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's what I told my buddy when I said, we should paint this stuff. And he said, yeah, let's learn. I said, well, what colors should I get? I'm going to do something different. And he's like, well, just get a bunch of colors. Like, you don't know how much this shit costs. There is no just get a bunch of colors. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, well, once I make up a batch, I'm going to spray as much shit as I can once I make a batch up, because it goes dead. We
have probably 75 colors.
Yeah.
And if somebody wants a color we don't have, I don't tell them we don't have it. I just order it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to be that company that says, well, we have to charge you extra because we don't stock that color. That to me is ridiculous. If you spray Cerakote, you should spray every single color they make.
Yeah. Which is a lot. They have a lot of colors.
Over 100 and something colors.
Yeah, they have a lot. And the thing is, it's like when he said, he was like, hey, I think next time we should go get some red. And I go, there's like 50.
There's like 6 or 7 reds.
Yeah, and I go, dude, there's there's so many different reds. There's so many different green. That's why I just picked generic. I want Magpul tan, Magpul green.
The first 6 colors I ever bought were burnt bronze, armor black, titanium or blue titanium.
Yep.
Regular titanium, Magpul FDE, and OD green.
Yep.
Those were the first colors.
Because that's your basic stuff that people are going to want on an AR, or basic stuff. I mean, that's the basic colors.
And then the guy wants hunter orange.
Yeah.
which is garbage, or zombie green, which is more garbage. But we have all that shit here, I mean, we make a lot of custom colors too. If we have the part in front of us, we can get close. It's never 100% match, but we can get close. And that's when people send you a photo and they say, "Can you match this?" And it's like, no, because I don't know who took that photo. I don't know what the lighting was.
Yeah. It's got to be so hard to judge off of.
It's impossible.
Yeah, and especially with the new phones and how it just kind of like then if they put a filter on it.
Everybody filters, not everybody, but most people that do Cerakote, way over filtering their photos.
Yeah.
Way over. Because if you over filter it and then that customer sees that and they say, "Well, I want this."
Yep.
It's like, well, dude, that's like really vibrant because I've over filtered it.
I see a lot of people do that with food as well.
Yep.
Like that's not how the hamburger bun looks.
What?
No, a Big Mac never looks like a Big Mac.
No.
What? Big Mac looks like somebody fucking stepped on it. And
Yeah,
put it
they're
in
like
a wrapper.
airbrushing shit on the Big Macs before they take pictures. I have a question with how you guys actually sell everything. How difficult was it to build the website and figure out shipping and receiving because it is firearms? Like, who the hell did you even have to talk to start doing that?
Well, when we did just our website page, not like the store stuff.
Yeah.
The website page is basically just information and photos.
Yep.
So there's no money or nothing there. It's not secure for transactions. And then we signed up with a company called Gearfire. And it's basically, they do all the online web stuff. You have to use like their templates or whatever. You can integrate it or whatever. And then you could hook up RSR, Sports South, the different distributors, and then their inventory is real time on your website. So they have parameters set up already. So we didn't have to do almost none of it really. We just had to put some of our own products in. It asks you, like, if you live in New York, you can't buy a 30-round mag.
Yeah.
So if someone tries to buy a 30-round mag on our website, they separated it between standard capacity, high capacity. They're all standard.
Yes.
QA community. But according to the laws in New York and California, they consider that high capacity. So they can't buy it. So it's automatically rejected. They just can't buy it. And as far as firearms go, when they buy a firearm, regardless, it comes to us. We can't drop ship a firearm. That it automatically comes to us.
Yeah.
Which usually they're, $500 so we get free shipping. And then once we get an FFL, we ship it to their FFL. But regular parts and stuff like that, it all gets drop shipped. They buy it, it goes through, it's automatically ordered and shipped to them, and they just take the money out of our bank account.
Wow.
We don't have to do it.
Yeah. So if you send everything without the cool shit in it, when it makes it go bang, you can send it regular mail.
Yeah, you can.
Slides, grips, parts.
You can ship a firearm. Like, a private citizen can ship a firearm through UPS and FedEx.
Yep.
It has to be next day air. Now, an FFL can ship a firearm back to a customer with any mail carrier. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It could be flat rate, $10 box.
Yeah, I think here, I have to send it UPS. because I had to send back I was part of that Remington send back for the rifles, the 700s. I think I had to go directly to UPS, and I put it in this box that had it was like a vacuum cleaner box. Like, I tried to disguise it so when it comes back, my neighbors aren't going to fucking see it. So I went there. Yeah. So she goes, "Well, you have to tell us there was a firearm in it." So they put this big fucking sticker on it that says firearm. And then it got to Remington, and then I got a call from they never sent me a confirmation they were sending it back. So my wife called me and just said, "Hey, did you buy a gun?" And I said, "I don't think I did today. Not that I'm aware of." She goes, "Well, the neighbor sent me a picture that there's a huge box on our porch, and it just says Remington rifles across the whole thing. They sent it back in this bright fucking box." And I'm like, "Oh, you dummies. My porch is up a couple steps. Everybody, it sat there all day. People driving by my porch."
That's more for the carrier so they don't throw the shit around.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of it is also that it should be signature.
Yeah.
We ship everything signature just because
it's it's liability both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. If Frank whatever sends me a gun, we have to sign for it, and then when I ship it back to Frank, which is legal,
Yeah.
he has to sign for it. Because then once I see he signed for it, there's no bullshit. He can't just say,
Yeah.
"Well, I never got my gun."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get that left-handed trigger shit.
Yeah.
I mean, but luckily we haven't had those kind of issues. But you never know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a gun. For
That
one
shit
thing,
happens, though.
And it's like, yeah, I mean, shit. Christmas time, we had stuff stolen off our front porch because it was just thrown there and somebody took it. And it was like, luckily it wasn't anything. And I called both companies and they replaced everything right away. But yeah, what would you do with a fucking firearm? You know what I mean? Like, that's why messed up.
Brand new Glock 45 to a buddy. He was going to convert it to like a Glock 18.
Yeah.
Side lever instead of the stupid backplate thing.
Yeah.
And a month later, he still didn't get it. It was just gone.
Yeah.
For 6 months, it was gone.
That
and then
sucks.
one day it just showed up here and I had a Glock 45 again.
Wow.
So, but I'm glad it was my gun. I would hate a customer's gun to disappear. You know what I mean?
I had my first problem with, I mean, it's not the same amount of money, but I shipped a sweatshirt to Russell Built, and he forgot to tell me his address changed, so I went off of the address on his PayPal, and he never changed the PayPal address. And it got sent to, and I don't ask for signatures or anything, and it was a $50 sweatshirt. I've never had problems like that, and here it went back, and then he called me and was like, hey, it's been like 2 weeks. And then I checked and it was like, no, it was delivered. And he went to his old house and it was just some kid. And he was just like, hey, what's up, man? And he's like, did you get a package here for me? And he's like, wait, you're that guy who did the clock for Joe Rogan. They start bullshitting. And he's like, no, man, I don't have your sweatshirt. You know what I mean? Like he knew the kid stole it.
Sure.
And then
what do you do?
So then I asked the post office, what do you do? And they're like, his wife had to go in, file a claim, then they have to wait a month, and then they have to file a police report. And then after the police report's filed, then it starts going into the insurance that you pay for. That takes about 90 days to get your money back.
So, yeah, if you go in FFL, that's the easiest way because then it's going right to a gun.
With the gun, it's scary. I mean, it really is. I literally, at our old shop, I had some lady come in. Little old black lady, really nice, sweet lady.
Well, that's what I was going to ask is, do you guys have people come in, like, do you have like a counter area or like a lobby that people come in and they can pick stuff up?
400 or 500 square feet.
Yeah.
It's got a couple cabinets and shit we hang on the wall when I'm not lazy to put it up there. But yeah, this lady, she literally had a delivery for us. And our post office delivered it to her house. It was a gun.
Oh, yeah.
But, and she didn't know that. And I literally had FedEx. Remember when the Hellcat came out?
Yeah.
They sent us one, with the RMR and all that stuff. And I checked delivery and it said it was delivered. And I checked where it went to a dealership on one of the main roads down the street. So I had to call their parts and shipping department. And they said, oh, yeah, we got it here. And when I got there, I told them, it was like, this is a gun, man.
Yeah.
They dropped the gun off at a dealership.
Oh, because it's all, yeah, they don't know.
And it's only happened a handful of times, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I mean, thousands of guns get shipped here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it happened 2 or 3 times. It's still a lot, but it's not bad.
No, and like I said, that's why it's always easier. You just go FFL, send it that way, and that way at least that you're covered. Because I know I bought one of those digital watches, and I tracked it. And all of a sudden it said that it was coming into a different city, like one city over.
Yeah.
And then
That's
it was,
the worst feeling when you know it's fucked up.
Well, the best is
like when you just check the tracking and you're like,
oh, the best was I was fucking livid. So I drove. It said it got signed for in the one city at the post office, and I was like, yo, somebody signed for my package. Like, it's not supposed to go there. So I drove to the post office and I was like, hey, somebody here signed for my package. And she goes, well, that's impossible. Well, I'm going to show you on my phone, and I want to know who signed my name without an ID and who picked up my shit. So they went in the back for like 10 minutes and came back, and there was my box. And I was like, oh, so one of your carriers just signed for my shit because they saw that it was an electronic thing, and they figured that it was just going to be, well, too bad I'm annoying and I follow everything like to the T. Yeah, so I had to go and argue and get it back. But yeah, I lose my shit if they stole one of my fucking firearms.
Just imagine if that was your gun.
Yeah, I'd be pissed. Oh,
I mean,
super pissed.
not that if I wouldn't care if I lost a gun. I would just be worried that that gun got into somebody else's hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
It's only money. I can replace that. It's just if somebody grabs it and they're just a fucking asshole and goes and shoots somebody, then now you got that on your conscience. You know what I mean?
And
even though you have nothing to do with it, it would just be a shitty feeling.
No, and that shit happens all the time as far as shipping and steal. I mean, I like I said, I'm a bail bondsman, so we're not working now, but when I am working, you should see every time I see something that says an illegal firearm, I'll flip through the paper and I was like, oh, this is a registered firearm in West Virginia. Right. This is fucking Pennsylvania. How did you get this gun from West Virginia? Oh, I don't know. My buddy sold it to me. And I was just like, so that dude, how did he fucking come up with it? And then we're talking a couple times a week, people have stolen handguns here. So that shit happens all the time. And that's scary as hell. Because then that person who owns that pistol, something happens, say something, somebody gets shot or whatever, or what, you know, that's bad. You know what I mean? Then it's like,
even if, you know, you're not responsible, you didn't do it, but in your head, you know, your conscience, you're thinking,
sure,
that kind of sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want to be a part of that.
No,
you know?
No. But
I got enough karma built up, so I could probably punch a nun in the face and get away with it. You know, I've been a nice guy lately.
Yeah, no, I was looking at some of your, I got a quick question. So when looking at your engraving and stuff, so how does it, when you're coloring the Cerakote and stuff like that, whatever, even if you're doing bare metal, like that doesn't have to be coated after that? Like it won't rust? Or how does that work? Or is it almost burn it into it?
When you're coloring this, when you just color like Cerakote,
you're just changing the pigments. Yeah, that's fine. But I mean, just regular metal or whatever, are you just burning it in?
Protected with something, unless it's like a stainless or titanium.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, carbon steel Glock slides, those will rust all day.
Yeah. Crap
like that, you got to put something on it. There's nothing, you have no choice. Even like the aluminum on a AR, 99% of the time it's not going to do anything, but I still like to cover it with something because you might get that guy who is an operator that lives right on Florida, right on the ocean, and gets tons of salt on it. Yeah. And then wonders why his shit starts corroding. You know, it would be that guy. I'm not going to worry about it this time. And then that's the guy.
That's the guy that gets it.
Falls apart. You know. Yeah. So we just try to coat everything with something, even just a clear coat.
Yeah.
Put something on it to protect it.
Yeah. Okay. You have anything?
No, I was just gonna say we could wrap up because I don't want to keep you too long. We had the one hang up, but we're definitely over an hour, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fine. I want to thank you for coming on. When Jesse pointed me out to it, like I said, I reached out, and the moment we got on the phone, I just knew you were super down to earth, and I think it's cool what you guys are doing. I like your approach on it. A lot of the things you said about how you kind of just, you know, even if people are kind of copying what you're doing, like you're too busy moving forward to even let that shit affect you. And that's such an awesome attitude to have. It's a lot with what I try and do with here, and I try not to compare this to other stuff, and I just try and keep moving forward, and it's hard to do that at times, but the story behind this and how far it's grown and blowing up, and then for you guys to be able to bring your family in, and then finding out like your background to like that was such a key when you said you had that creative background, like it kind of opened the door where I was like, I can see totally how he made this thing work. And the whole point of me bringing people on here is to kind of motivate people to do what they want to do, and for you to just kind of go out on the whim and be like, fuck it, I'm gonna paint guns, and then to blow it up to being the thing that people compare the standard of painting a gun is it's pretty remarkable, man. It was really cool to just meet you. What was that?
We're very fortunate. You know, I mean, like I said, the right people saw our work, and you know, I'm just humble and I'm thankful where we're at. You know?
And that's why I always push everybody to kind of take that leap forward, because it's like you just started doing it, and then someone did see it, and it did fall in the right hands, and it is sometimes that easy, not that it's not easy work, but it's like, you know, you had to make the decision to do all of this and get it all together and organize it and structure it, and that's the hard stuff. But if you wouldn't even have taken a step forward, who knows what you would even be doing now. But the fact that you have all this and you blew it up, it's an awesome story, and I've been wanting to tell it for a while. So I just appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely. When we first talked, I talked about coming down there, and I still want to do it. And after all this stuff settles, I would love to come down there and just kind of let you guys do whatever you want with my gun, and then we can kind of film some stuff down there. And I was going to roll down with one of my buddy and just kind of shoot everything professionally and just get some more content. So it'd be cool if we could set something like that up after God knows when we'll go back to normal. This shit sucks.
And after the end of the world, you guys are welcome here anytime.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm sure I could, and I tell all my friends all the time too. I don't like regular guns. Like I can't buy a gun and let it go. I have to change as much as I can. Like not necessarily just change the way it works, but I just don't want to have the same gun as somebody else. And that's what Cerakoting does. It allows you to do.
See my car, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't want anybody to have the same exact car, so I had shit made. So
yeah, and that's what Cerakoting allows you to do. And then with laser engraving, now it's really you can do whatever the hell you want to do. You can put whatever the hell you want on there, do whatever. So I definitely I will find. Well, it's not very difficult. I will find one of my firearms, and then we'll bring them over. Yeah, that would be cool to shoot that. That'd be cool to do.
I want to give you a second to plug anywhere that anyone can kind of see it. I know your Instagram is, I think, the best page for it, but if you want to give your Instagram and your website, and then that way anyone listening can check out your stuff.
Well, the Instagram is at Blown Deadline, all one word. The website is blowndeadline.net. And then on Facebook, it's BDL Cerakote, all one word.
Cool.
And you can find us there.
Awesome. And then I'll let you know when all this stuff comes out, and then I'll send you a link to the show and everything. And then if anybody's listening, you can check out all things we're doing at neveragainstudio.com. And thank you again. A lot of the people I reach out to are kind of in my world, so it was awesome to have Jesse point somebody out in his world. So I've been wanting to kind of lean over to his side for a while, so I was glad to get this done.
Good deal.
Thanks, man.
I appreciate it, man. All right, cool. Thank you.
You guys have a good one, man.
Yeah, you too.
Yep.
All right.
Bye.
Later.
All right, we're done recording.
Okay.